welcome back to Jim's Garage Toys. Today I'm going to finally start my rear brake conversion on my 2009 Corolla S Turbo. I have, this car came with front disc rear drums, and I've been buying the parts I needed over the last couple of years. Finally have everything set up, so I'm going to go ahead and start this transformation. And we'll also be installing a SEsedan front big brake kit on the front as an upgrade also. So I've got everything situated, and the car's up on my quick jack, so I'll go ahead and get started. I'll give you a quick overview of what I've got, and we'll go from there. I've got everything kind of laid out on my table here that I need for this. New rotor, caliper bracket, caliper, parking brake line, pads. I've got a new stainless steel brake line for the disc setup, and a new backing plate. So, and then all the peripheral pieces, that nuts and bolts and bleeder screws and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, so got everything here. Got the tire popped off, so we will go ahead and get started. This will be the last time that there's a drum on it. Before I pull the drum brakes apart, I'm going to go ahead and remove this right here, this little pin. So move that out, so I'm going to be able to get some flexibility there. Here's the back of the brake line right here, and once I disconnect that, I don't want to lose a lot of brake fluid, so I've just got a little piece of hose I found lying around, put a bolt in the end of it, and I'll stuff this over the end that threads into the brakes, and that way I can kind of push that out of the way and not worry about it while I'm clearing this out and changing everything over. And then when I'm ready to rehook it up, then I can with the new brake disc hardware. So you're not going to keep any of this as far as the brake parts, so it really doesn't matter. But if you've never taken them off before, there's a little clip right here that you take off of that. Then you want to loosen the tension right there from the adjuster, and then you can take off these springs. And really the biggest thing I got to get all this off of is the parking brake attaches behind there. There you can see the parking brake cable. So you get that shoe off, so I can take that off and take all the drum brake hardware off, and we'll go from there. So I'm just going to pop this stuff off real quick, and we'll be able to start putting disc brake stuff on. Okay, everything is off now. So this will get replaced right here with the new disc brake one right there. And then this brake cable will get replaced from here back. So it's just a one piece from here, and that's this piece. So we'll get that changed over. I just got it plugged right now. And so there's the old drum assembly. The hubs are supposed to be the same, so we should be able to reuse that. But that is the progress so far. So this is how you take the hub, get the hub out of the backing plate. So after you take it off the car, put your 4 bolts back on there, and it will catch. It won't allow this hub to drop. So I'm just using a couple 2x6s, and then just work your way around. Don't hit the back of your speed sensor. You don't want to break that. Okay, it's starting to move. Just want to kind of hit around it and try to keep it even. There it goes, so it doesn't get cockeyed in there. And then once it drops out, take the bolts off. The hub is the same for the drum and the disc, so once you get the hub out, then you reuse it. Have to get my knee pad. There we go. And there's our hub. So this is why I put a little bit of anti-seize around the new backing plate when I put it back together. So I'll take a wire brush to this, clean it up, and then put some anti-seize on there, so if I ever have to take it apart again, it'll slide out with no problem. That's all there is to it. It's really not that tough, just a little bit of muscle. Here is the part that they used, the shim that they used after I put my BC coilovers on years ago, and that was to get the rear end aligned properly. So the only thing I had to do is I had to trim this top piece right here, because on the back of the disc of the back plate for the disc brake, it's raised here, so it needed to fit in there. On the drum brake, you see it's flat, so it didn't matter. So I got that on there now. Got some longer bolts for here. The stock ones for the drums are just a little bit too short, so I just picked up some of those. And we'll start reassembling here. So I got some longer bolts. The bolts for the drum brakes being a little bit too short, so here you can see the difference in length. So just about a 1/4 inch or so for threads. I got the strongest bolts I could find, so I said this was the highest class, 10.9. So got 8 of those, 4 for each side. So then this will sit over there like that. So, and then the hub. And the hub is, I'll kind of show you, see if you can tell or not, but it's smaller here at the bottom than it is at the top. So these two are spaced a little bit wider than this, so it only goes in one way. And I think I'm going to put a little bit, I took a wire brush to this, but I could see there was, I didn't have a problem getting it out, but I can see where there's a little bit of rust that was forming. So I'm going to put some anti-seize around that lip there. So there you can see, just put a little bit of anti-seize around there, just to make that easier next time I ever have to get it out. I'm going to use just a little bit of, I got to shake it, no thread lock on it. I don't really think it needs it, but I'm just putting a little bit of the blue on there just to give a little bit of holding, but you can easily break it loose with a wrench. So perfect. Starting to take shape. It's nice that it takes the same hub as the drum brake. That sure makes it easy because it's one less part you got to buy. And if you do this yourself, you're going to learn if you ever have to change the hub. It's really not that bad. It's not that hard to do. So I'll get that cinched down. I'm spray painting the caliper and the caliper bracket red to match the front Seika big brake kit I'm going to put on. And so I'll get this cinched down, and then it's just a matter of mounting that and connecting the brake line. So I just snugged this up. They're hand tight now. Still need to tighten it way down, but I'll give a close bird's eye so you can see the bolts sticking through there, so the threads come all the way to the end of it there. If you use the OEM ones here that came with the drum brakes, they're just going to be too short. I think they might just get 1 or 2 threads on there, but that's it, so nowhere near strong enough. So this is at least on there now. Now all I got to do is tighten it down. I don't know the torque specs on it, but these are class 10.9 bolts, which the guy said was the strongest that they have. So I'm sure if I just tighten it down nice and firm, they're not going anywhere. I'll tell you what, I like these wrenches that I got from Harbor Freight are great because I've got them a 1/2 inch. This one comes in 3/8 on one side and 1/4 on the other, and they go down for a normal size, but if you need some more torque, they lengthen out. My favorite socket wrenches that I've got. Absolutely love them. So, all right, that is on there, and you can see it was completely flush before, and now we've got threads sticking out after I snugged it down there. So that is on there. That is going nowhere. So now we're down to basically just a brake job. So, all right, it's getting exciting. So we got the one bolt in. We'll slip this other one and just kind of wiggle it around until you find the threads. I got these. Finger tight. Actually, let me grab my wrench. Okay. Get out my best friend here. Is this reversing? Yep, the wrong way. Okay. There we go. Gives you an idea of that. Now, grab our freshly painted caliper. There we go. Have to take one piece of paint off. So this will sit just like that. So ended up putting on the clips. I bought new clips from Toyota. So we snapped those in. So now I'll put this back on like I showed earlier, and I'll load the pads into it, and then we'll be all set to do the brake line. Then that'll be done. Then the only thing I'll have to do on this side is run the e-brake cable that's down here on the floor, and we'll be all set. I think I figured out the orientation of the brake line, so I think we're good there. So, all right. I thought I would go over putting the hardware on the pads. So I ordered all new hardware from Toyota, so I have all the shims and stuff here. So you've got the one with the squeal indicator that goes on the inside, and we have a regular one. And these are all notched, so this goes here first with the vents, and then this one goes on top of there, allowing these to slide and hopefully not squeak. But we've got our CRC brake grease. I'm going to put a little bit, doesn't take much, just a little dab. And on both of these, I'm just going to smear that around there. Just to eliminate any possible squeaking. So then this one will snap like that, and this one will snap like this. I find it easiest just to put the two hooks on the bottom first and then snap it over and hit the top one. So, and then I'm going to do the same exact thing on this level. And smear this around. This way there's a little thin layer between the two shims. And this one's actually cut out right here for that, so you know it goes on that one with the indicator. There we go. That snaps around there. And then on the other side for this, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this. I'll put it on the piston inside the caliper where it pushes on this, and that way it makes contact just where it needs to, and then on the two claws that basically will hold that in and push from the opposite side, and we will be set. So the pads are ready to drop in. I went and grabbed the caliper since it's not on yet, and I figured I'd show you. So I'm going to apply some grease right here, contact point, and then the other contact point is here and here, because that goes around and grabs onto the other pad. So that's where I'm going to put some of this. So we'll do a little bit right here, and then we'll do a little dab on each one of these. A little there and a little there. So I'll just take that and smear that. And then we'll go here and spread that around the piston. That way when that puts pressure against it, if it vibrates, it won't squeak. There we go. Job well done. Okay, so let me take this. There's little springs on both sides of this. So the best way is just to stick them inside those where those springs are. And it should getting lined up there. They just push right in like that. And the springs hold them in. So here on this side, it's a little easier to see. So there's a spring here and there's a spring there. And this is going to go like this. Kind of just go. There we go. Kind of smeared a little bit of grease, so I'll clean that up. There. Now the pads are in. These are ABC Red Stuff pads. They're one step above the OEM braking, but they are low dust. Time for the caliper. So this gets held on with these guys, two 14mm bolts. They actually go into the slide pins. The slide pin's a 17mm, and you use an open-ended wrench to hold that still while you tighten this into it. So I'll just slide this over. These are new calipers, so the benefit there is I don't have to push the piston back. If you did, you would use a tool to rotate. This one rotates in. There we go. So those are threaded. So you can see as I spin this just by hand how that turns. So I use a 17 here and a 14 here. So beautiful. So this is where our e-brake will attach into right here. Here's my bleed screw, and then this is up top. This is where I will attach the brake line. Get it finger tight so I can figure the exact orientation with kind of how it wants to pop into this. So, but that is essentially how it will fit, just like that. So, yeah, so we got one connection over here, tighten this one, and then I need to get under and run the new brake cables, and this side's done. I'll explain a little bit of how this works with the one I haven't done with for the other side yet. So this piece right here fits into the hole, and it's slotted. So there's a little lip on the inside here, and this fits down into the metal bracket there, so that the outer piece, as you can see there, is flush with it. And then once it sticks through and you attach the brake line to it, this little clip clips on like that to keep that secure around that piece right there. So it's a little easier to see it and understand how that works. So it sits just like that. So the exact angle is on this one There we go. It's pretty much a duplicate. This one will be for the other side, but hopefully that helps make it a little clearer how that attaches if you've never done this before. And the only key, of course, is once you open up the brake line, you're going to have to bleed them. And that's pretty easy if you have a one-man brake bleeder tool. So they're pretty inexpensive, and I would definitely recommend anybody pick one up. Here's a quick little review of my drum to disc conversion. So new rotors from R1 Concepts. Got new calipers, backing plate, and caliper bracket. I painted those red. So I've done replaced the brake line with a stainless steel brake line from Apex Brakes. And where there was a joint right here in the OEM line, and I went ahead and put a rubber grommet on there. So, but overall, it looks great, and it was actually very, very simple to do. So anybody want to do this, you just got to get the parts, and it's not hard to swap them over.